Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how you can make this beautiful green tea cup, including the green tea and with the smoke coming out, only using shader nodes in Blender. So without wasting any time, let's go jump into the tutorial. Alright, so let's start with the modeling first. So first thing first, I'm gonna turn on the screencast and let's delete everything with pressing A and delete. So this is going to be a very basic model. I'm going to add a cylinder and go to the front view. We're just going to model the teacup and go to edit mode and let's go delete the face. So yeah, now I'm going to add a subdivision into this cylinder. Go to the modifier, add a subdivision surface and turn up the viewport to 3. Yeah, I guess that will do. So let's go to the edit mode again, and now we're going to select the bottom face and add an insertion. So press I, add, so that we can smooth out the bottom part, and go to the front view again. We're going to add a couple of loop cuts, Ctrl R, along the z-axis like this. Yeah, 4 will do. And now we're basically just going to give a shape to our teacup. So for that, let's go select the bottom edges like this, alt and left click and just scale them. Make sure you also select these edges as well, so you can scale them down both at the same time. That way don't mess with the scaling. And let's go do the same thing to all the edges. And in the middle portion, I'm going to scale it up like this, scale it up and then scale them down again like this. Okay, so that looks okay. What I'm gonna do is squeeze them down along z-axis, make them a bit short, but because that looked way too tall to be a teacup, and apply auto smooth, right click, and before anything I'm going to add another modifier, which is going to be a solidify modifier. Add some thickness, pull it up like this. Let's go 0.08. yes, that looks nice. And now let's go back to the edit mode again and work on our modeling. So what I want to do is scale them down a bit more like this. And scale it down like this. Let's see. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me for a teacup, for a traditional Japanese teacup, I mean. And for anything, make sure you save your file. So let's go to the front view, press 7, and we're going to add another mesh. This is going to be a plane, and this is going to be our green tea basically. So let's select the mesh and bring it up all the way, just about here. Go to the front view again, I mean top view, and let's add a couple of subdivision. So number of cut is going to be 4. Yeah, that will do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make it a circle. The reason we are using plane, we could have used a circle mesh, but we decided to use plane is we can add the shader node and we can work the way we want onto this plane. It works better on the plane rather than the circle mesh. That's why we wanted to use plane. So go to the X-ray mode again, and let's go find our knife tool. Yeah, this one. So right now we're going to select this part and just keep dissecting like this. Make it a circle shape. After you're done, you can basically press enter, and now let's go select box, and we're going to select all the faces that we don't need and then remove them. X faces, turn off the X remote, and as you can see we have a circle. It's not a perfect circle, but it will be after we add a subdivision surface and increase our viewport. There we go. And make sure you don't have any gaps between the tea and the cups. So to make sure that, what I'm gonna do is scale it a bit. Yeah, that will do. And I'm going to go back to edit mode again and apply few more subdivision. Yeah, that will do, I guess. Okay, so we are basically done with the modeling. Now let's go select our render engine. We are going to use Cycles, of course. And before we jump into the material, we want to add our lighting. So for that I'm going to use an HDRI for a realistic light. So let's go to the world view and basically delete this background and search for environment texture, connect color to the surface, and I'm going to use distribution board. You can find this HDRI into Polyhaven. So this is the polyhaven.com, and I download all my HDRIs from this website. As you can see, you can get pretty much any lighting condition you want into this HDRI, and particularly for my project or this tutorial I'm using this one. It is called distribution board and author is Sergey. So yeah, you can go ahead and download this HDRI from Polyhaven, and they're absolutely free. Alright, so now that we have our HDRI, now I'm going to to render view and make sure I'm going to turn down the render sample to 32 just for now, and I'm going to turn on the denoise. So let's go add a camera here and position our camera like this. And also if you go to viewport display and turn on the pass-bar out, you can just basically black out everything you don't need in your render view. That way that it saves you some VRAM or GPU. Alright, so now we are going to jump into the shader editor. So go to the object and select the cup. Before, I'm going to rename my mesh to cup and rename the plane to T. Also, I would like to add a little plank at the bottom so that it looks like a table. So let's go scale it along y-axis and scale it along x-axis like this. A bit more, yeah, that will do. And let's go to 3D board and go to the edit mode. Yeah, that will do, I guess. And bring everything onto the x-axis and make sure your cup is touching down the plane perfectly. Still not perfect. Yeah, that will do. Okay, I messed up a little bit. Okay, also I want to smooth out my plane a bit, so I'm going to use a bevel modifier and just increase the segment like this, maybe increase the amount or decrease it, and apply auto smooth. Yeah, that will do. So we're mostly done with the modeling part. All it left is this is all about using the material nodes. So first thing first, I'm going to, you know what, let's zoom it to the cup a bit more so you can get a nice view onto our material. And let's go add a new material, rename it as a cup. Okay, so for the cup, I'm going to, let's add a color ramp. And connect the color to color, and I want to use a gradient texture so we can control the color on our teacup. So let's connect the color to FAC. As you can see, we have black on the left side, right side, and white on the right side. So let's go fix that. We are going to need a mapping node, so let's go select the gradient texture and just press Ctrl T, and we're going to connect object to the vector. And now all we have to do is rotate the y-axis into negative 90 degree. That way we have a nice gradient into our x-axis, and we can basically control the black by increasing our x location like this. Let's go 0.6, and for you can also control your color from here. As you can see, the more you increase the black, and if you want a nice smooth fade out, you can also use B-line like this. But for that I'm going to use linear, because linear is just fine. And now we are going to add our color. So for that I need a mix color node. So you can also control your color from here if you want, like this. But to make it easier, I'm gonna add a mix color node. Type in mix color and just add it here, and go to the factor. And as you can see, let's go a dark blue onto the top part like this, and a light blue onto the bottom. Yeah, like this. It's not bad. And of course make sure you lower the roughness to give your teacup a shiny effect, so you can see all the nice light shining off your teacups. So that is basically the material for the teacup. Now we're going to work on our way to the tea material. So this is going to be a bit tricky but easy nonetheless. So let's go rename it as tea, and okay, so we want to add green tea into our teacups. So obviously we are going to need a color ramp and add green color into the green tea, but that's not it. We need something more, but for now let's just add green into the color. We're also going to add some ripples like you've seen before, and that will going to help us give it a nice realistic looking tea. Yeah, that will do for now. We can change our color later if we need to. And let's go add a new texture. It is called a wave texture. Now the wave texture is going to give us is going to help us to give it a nice ripple effect onto the tea. So let's go add color to the fact like this, and as you can see we have some lines, but we want circle, not line. And for that I'm going to add vector node again, mapping node. So go and select the wave texture and press Ctrl 3, and just like before I'm going to connect object to the vector, and I'm going to change our bands to rings and X to the Z. And as you can see we have a ring in our teacup, but there is a lot of ripples. So what we need is I'm going to scale down from 5 to 0.6. Yeah, that looks about nice. That looks nice, not bad. And also I'm going to increase the distortion like this, maybe a bit more, 3.5. And I'm going to keep the rest of the settings as it is. If we need it, we can change it later. And now let's go add some bump into our ripples. So for that we are going to need a bump node, not a bump node, a displacement node. So for that, let's select the displacement and connect displacement to displacement. Here we won't see any change right now, so for that we have to go to the displacement setting here and change from bump only to displacement and bump. And as you can see, our T has disappeared, but don't worry, we have to connect color to the height and our T is back, but the ripple is very strong right now. So let's go and turn down the strength to 0.3 and turn down our scale all the way to 0.01. That looks nice. Okay, so now let's go do something here. We need to turn on our transmission to give our tree a bit a transparency effect. So let's go, I'm going to turn it all the way to 0.6. Let's go 0.5 and also turn down the roughness to 0.123. Oh yeah, now you can see the reflection. And I need to change the color, modify the color a bit more. So for that I'm gonna maybe give it a bit lighter green like this. And let's go to the front view. Okay, so if we take our green all the way to the corner and lighter green all the way here or here, yeah, I like this one better. That will do. That looks green enough for a green tea. And yeah, that is basically the tea material. I don't think I need to add any more material into this. So let's go save, add save. And there is one more thing I forgot to add, which is we need a nice smoke or steam coming off onto the top of the teacup. So for that I'm going to go back to 3D viewport and let's go add another plant. That's right, we're going to use plane or mesh to make our steam. And this is all in material node. You don't have to do anything, so all you have to do is just add a plane. And let's go turn on our viewport again and we are going to turn this plane into T-stem using just shader nodes. So for that, let's go add a new material. What I'm gonna call it stem, maybe, I don't know, just name it whatever you want. And this is going to be a alpha thing. We don't have to add any color or anything, but we do need to add a mask to give our stem a smooth out shape, because as you can see, the plane has a pretty rough edge. We don't want that in our smoke or stem. So first thing first, I'm going to add a color ramp and add our color ramp into alpha like this, and we're going to add another gradient tool, add color to effect like this, and as you can see, we can already see some fade out effect at this area. So you can already guess what is our next move. It is to add a mapping, and yeah, now we have some clear fade out just like smoke into our mesh. So for that, I'm going to change linear to quadratic sphere. That way we can have some round round smoke into the middle, and all we have to do is go to the edit mode and add some loop cut here. What I'm gonna do is select these faces and just delete them. We don't need extra faces here, and keep it like this. Yeah, so to make sure what is happening into this plane, what I'm gonna do is select gradient texture and just shift right click, control shift right click, and now we can work on our smoke shapes. So for that, I'm going to scale up the axis to 2, and then I'm going to maybe squeeze the y-axis to 0.8, and as you can see, we already have a smoke shape or steam shape into our material. So let's go change it to our principal BSDF, and now we need our smoke to look like actual smoke, and we need to add some wave effect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to duplicate this color ramp here, shift D to duplicate, same way you duplicate a mesh, and we're going to add a wave texture again. So apply color to effect, and we're going to use a mix node to connect these two color ramp together. For that, let's go X a mix color again and just put it over here, and this color will go to V, and from mix we can apply multiplies, and we need another mapping texture, and this time we're going to keep this as generated to vector. So as you can see, we have some lines here, and what we need is, if we can work our also make sure the factor is 1, and let's go scale this down all the way to maybe 0.9. We already have few lines of smoke, 1 2 3, and distort them like this. Yeah, that's a nice wavy texture. Maybe turn off the details a bit more. We don't want to do too much, and yeah, the rest of the thing will be same like this. And what you can do is, to make it a more visible, you can just turn this black here, and to make your life easier, what I'm gonna do is go to the front view, bring this smoke here, and just duplicate this and maybe rotate like this. Make sure your plane is staying into this boundary, into the teacup, so the smoke don't come out and it doesn't look that weird. All right, so let's go zoom out our camera again, and yeah, we can see some nice texture onto our smoke. And I almost forgot to add material into our table thing, so let's go rename it as a table, and this is going to be a basic material. So for that, I'll just add a color ramp and add it here, add another wave texture, not wave, I'm going to use Voronoi texture, and from Euclidean I'm going to change it to Chevy shape like this, and from F1 Chevy shape, yeah, that will do, I guess. We can also do some I'm just seeing trying different option here to see what looks better. Yeah, that will do, I guess. Let's go add a noise texture. And of course we're going to need our mapping, and as you can see, we have a nice wood texture here, and you can basically add multiple color variation to give it a nice wood color. So for that, I'm going to choose the black and make it dark brown like this, and select this one, make it a lighter version of brown, so like this, and select the light one to maybe go like this. Yeah, that looks nice, right? I'm gonna change the randomness a bit more and play around the color ramp and maybe scale up like this. Yeah, okay, that is too much. Yeah, leave the scale as it is. And also I'm going to add a bump here, connect normal to normal, and you can connect color to height like this. As you can see, we have some height or bump into our tables, so I'm going to choose invert and turn down the strength all the way to 5. Okay, now that looks nice. Make sure you also turn on here the pump. Oh, we don't need this displacement because we don't have any displacement mode here. And yeah, so right now all you can do is duplicate your cup and your teas as much as you want. So I'm going to select these 3, bring them forward a bit here like this, and then duplicate, Shift T and Y, bring it here, G, X, position them nicely in front of your camera, and then make sure you rotate your stem or smoke so they don't look identical like this. I also would like to change the color of this T mark, so for that I'm going to duplicate this color and change it to maybe green, I guess, like this. Let's go dark. Yeah, that looks nice. And one last thing you can do is add a mesh, add an empty here, empty cube, and box all the item or mesh into your empty, so you can just blur out all the background from HDRI. As you can see, I have a ladder in the background. I guess this is an under construction house, so yeah, it matches the narrative. You're having a nice green tea break in the middle of your construction. So what I'm gonna do is select the empty from camera depth of field, turn on the depth of field and select your empty, and just turn down your f-stop all the way to 0.3. maybe that will blur out everything in the background. Yeah, it does blur out a bit. But yeah, that is it for this tutorial. I hope you liked it, and if you did, make sure you let me know in the comment section. And thank you for watching. Take care. Peace.